Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As y'all have seen, my previous video was not, my face wasn't in it. This is like a new thing. So if y'all were wondering what I look like, it's me. So anyways, I have been in the process of enlisting in the Navy. Just got done with the MHS Genesis program, which is MHS is military health system, I do believe. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. This is about rate. I was having some issues, like not really issues, but like everybody, they want to make sure that they pick the right poison, the right job. The Navy says choose your rate, choose your fate. So I want to make sure that my fate is the one that I'm going to love. So I have a few, and there's other rates that you can kind of like, I'm not sure exactly how it works, like IA. I think it's like individual augmentee is where you go and do a 3-week course at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I think you got to qualify for the Beretta M9 and some other, I'm sure the M4 and a few other weapons. I think there's a couple weapons that you got to qualify with and do some combat stuff, just in case you're like you're a rate that doesn't do any of that stuff, any type of combat training. You can train to do that, so that way you basically are telling them like, I want to volunteer for a deployment, basically, I'm guessing, where you can go and support Marine Corps or some other type of a Navy or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure there's multiple assignments they would give you. So that's called IA. That's not an actual, as far as I know, an actual rate. The rates that I was actually looking at is, I know as crazy as it sounds, one of them is RP, which is Religious Program Specialist, where you're basically a chaplain's assistant. And if you choose to go Greenside, which you just found out, I didn't know that there was a Greenside. I thought that regardless, you're the chaplain's assistant and bodyguard. If he went on deployment and you went with him, you would be at that point a combatant and would have to defend him because he does not carry a weapon. And so it would be me or you, whoever decided that that's the rate that they want to do so. So if you choose to go Greenside, you train for 5 weeks at Camp Lejeune and the infamous Paris Island to be able to be Greenside. I don't know the full extent of it, or how, if you have to go through a selection process for any of that stuff, I'm not sure. The other one that I was thinking about, of course, like a lot of people like kind of want to do it because it sets them up for possibly being a police officer later when you're out, or just something that's like fun. A lot of people do it in there. And MA is a Master at Arms, which is basically the Navy's police force, base security, harbor security, all that stuff, which looked pretty good. I have a really good friend of mine that does that. She has been to Japan, Whidbey Island, in Washington. I think right now, I forget where she said she was. Might be Georgia. I'm not 100%. Man, I have heartburn like crazy. And then another rate that I have been thinking into a bunch is Navy Greenside Corpsman. So if I decided to do that, I would of course go, I think it's like 18 weeks of A school. I think it's at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas, for the medical training, but I could be wrong. There's lots of different stuff floating around on the internet. It tells you some of it's wrong, some of it's right. Obviously, some of it's got to be wrong, some of it's right. But it's about 18 weeks for A school at Fort Sam Houston, as far as I know. And then from there, if you decide that you want to go Greenside, of course you have to have some experience in the field, working at a hospital or field hospital or whatever type of clinic, or on a ship or whatever, doing that specific rate for a certain amount of time before I think you qualify to go to Camp Lejeune to train for combatives and stuff like that, to be a Devil Doc, a combat corpsman with the Marine Corps. As cool as that sounds, I'd love to do that, but I have a wife and kids that wouldn't appreciate it very much if I was gone for that period of time, which they are willing to deal with that. My wife is willing to do that, but she doesn't like really want to have to. So as long as I can find something else that I'm just as interested or more interested in, whenever it comes time for me to choose a rate, I will hopefully be able to choose something different. So I'm not really sure about a whole bunch of. I had some questions. I should have written stuff down. So if any of y'all viewers had any input that y'all could have given me, y'all could have left it in the comment section, which would have been great. But I did not do that for whatever reason. I don't know. I should have used a different camera. That way I could have like paused this and thought for a second about that. But it is what it is, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep this going. I'm going to be posting another video here soon about the end of how this MHS Genesis thing turns out. So like I've already said, I have gotten the results back from it. I haven't been disqualified. I do have some stuff that they want me to get, which is basically my first wife passed away. Shortly after she passed away, and everything finally settled on me, and I realized what had happened. I got on an anti-anxiety medication just to kind of help me through it, just something my doctor prescribed me to help me out, and also my blood pressure was a little high because of everything, I guess, going on, the stress. Don't remember what it was, but it was high. So they put me on something. I didn't stay on it. I ended up getting off of it and got blood pressure checks after that. And a lot of stuff was fine, but ended up kind of getting like a white jacket syndrome, I think it's called, like where you're just like really nervous at a doctor's office. So my blood pressure at a doctor's office was generally in the 140s over like 80, over 90, which is the beginning of hypertension, but basically related to that circumstance of being nervous at a doctor's office. So hopefully when I go to MEPS, that can be explained, and if it is a little bit high, it can be overlooked. So we'll just have to see. That's my biggest worry right now, and also my neck tattoo. So not until I make it through all the rest of the medical stuff can I get a waiver for this. The Navy has just started allowing neck tattoos 1-inch diameter. This is much bigger than 1 inch. Luckily, it's not colored in. If it was colored in, it would definitely be a no-go. But there is still a chance that I might have to get this removed. I do not want to have to get it removed, but I might have to. So I'm kind of fond of it, so hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully I don't have to get it removed, but we'll see. More about the IA, the individual augmentee. I'm not quite sure how that works, how easy it is. It's like, so basically I'm guessing that you basically talk to who's ever over you and who's ever in charge of what you do. I'm going into the Navy Reserves, so I'm not sure how it would work for me. If I have to talk to my commanding officer or whoever, whatever they call it, I'll learn all that stuff in boot camp. If I just ask them, hey, is this something that I can qualify for, that I can go to training for? It's a 3-week training camp, but like I said, at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and go from there. So if any of y'all know more about that than I do, and you know how that process works, please let me know. That'd be really super cool. Also, there are a few other things that, like I said, that I wanted to talk about on here, but this is kind of getting kind of long, and I don't want y'all watching a long video. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is tell y'all, thank y'all very much for watching this one. If I can think of that stuff, I'll post a short, and hopefully y'all can answer some questions for me. As always, like and subscribe to the channel. This channel is not supposed to be just me sitting in front of my unfinished basement wall. It's supposed to be lots of fishing, lots of hunting, lots of shooting, lots of guns, lots of ammo, lots of cleaning squirrels, lots of cleaning deer, lots of how to do this and how to do this outdoor stuff, because that's what I love to do. So if you like that stuff, like and subscribe. If you'd like to hear about the process of getting into the Navy, going through MEPS, going through the MHS Genesis program, and how that stuff turns out and works out for certain people, this is my specific experience. This is what I'm dealing with. My recruiter told me that he has about 50 people that are stuck in this program at the moment. Whenever I asked him that, actually, that was like 2 weeks ago. Since then, my stuff has came back, and just a handful of things that I have to get for them that I don't think is going to be an issue. So we shall see. So, like I said, if any of y'all have really cool comments or like better information than what I have already, because y'all are already in or have already went through this stuff, please leave that in the comment section below. I'd so much appreciate it. Like I said, as always, like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, The link to my Patreon is in the description of my channel. As always, God bless every single one of you. See you next time.